Hey, this is Mo from the Mobile Marvel, and today we're doing the 28-day later review of the Vivo X Fold 5. So first thing, why did I pick up the Chinese version? Well, because of the stunning green color. It's just so nice to look at. Amazing. Awesome. So let me talk about this device. Firstly, the build quality. I don't think it's as well built as the Z Fold 7, the Honor Magic V5, which is somewhere, and the Oppo. Why do I say that? Well, I'm just not a person that likes glossy finishes. This has all around it. It's all glossy. I don't like it. Just saying. But one thing that's really good about this device is that it is so ergonomically like hand-friendly. It's just so comfortable. Out of all the foldables that have come out this year, this is by far the most comfortable foldable that has come out this year, which is great. It's so comfortable. Also, it's a lot easier to pop this open than the other devices. This one, not actually really hard to open. This Z Fold 7. It's just, sometimes you just can't grab on anything in there. It's just annoying. The other thing is, this has the smallest camera bump. So it is nice. I mean, they're all wobble, but this wobbles the least. So it's quite nice that way. This device is stunning inside screen. It goes up to 4,500 nit peak brightness. Blows the Oppo Find N5 and the Samsung Z Fold 7 out of the water. But the Honor goes up to 5,000 nit peak brightness. That's so bright that my eyes almost hurt. But even with this one, it's really close to my eyes actually hurting, even outdoors sometimes. Again, the screen, because they put some anti-reflective coating on it, it's actually quite nice, the main display. So I've been using it now, and I've never had an issue with brightness, with anything related to brightness, actually. Whether outdoors, whether indoors, no issues whatsoever. Another thing I like about this device is that, this gives you this extra button here. It's a dual function button. So what this button basically does, and let me just say, the menus have taken a lot of inspiration from Apple and iOS. But what I mean by the dual function, so first, I like that my camera is easy to open with usually with a double press or something. Here, it's usually, I set it to the power button, but here the power button doesn't let you do that. Double pressing the power button brings up the AI. So I use the side button. I press it twice, launches the camera. I hold it down, which is that dual function thing that we talked about earlier. This becomes a mute slider, volume slider, whatever you want to call it. It's great. And you don't have to set it to what I set it. You can set it to whatever you want. Whatever your preference is. You want to launch any app that you want to launch. You want to launch the health tracking app. You can do that. You want anything you want to launch. You can launch just using that button, which is actually pretty cool. I wish this device had something like that. It would just make it so much easier to have an extra function, an extra way to interact with the phone. It's great. Now, one of the stars of the show here is how awesome the battery life on this device is. On standby mode, I'm getting like 17 hours, and on screen, I'm getting over 7 hours and 20 minutes on average. With the Z Fold 7, I'm getting under 6 hours and awful standby time. And with the Honor, I'm getting just a little bit over 6 hours. So even compared to the Honor Magic V5, I'm getting over an hour extra of on-screen time, which is insanely good. And also, this is the fastest charging device, 80 watt wired. So charging the entire device from 0 to 100 at 6,000 mAh battery, it's a breeze. It's super quick. On a long day, I start, say at like 9 a.m. and I end at about 11 p.m. I still have about 25%, sometimes even as high as 30%. Of course, I do use two devices, so do keep that in mind. With the Z Fold 7, I need to top up at some point in the day, and at 25 watt charging, it takes a long time. At some point, usually at about dinner time, before I sit down for dinner, I put this phone on charge so I can last it till the time I go to bed. No such issues with this Vivo, which is great. I like it. Another huge pro is this has by far the best cameras on any of the book style foldables. Like its older sibling from last year, the Vivo X Fold 3 Pro had the best cameras last year, and this one has the same thing this year. Basically, they have these Zeiss coat, the triple 50 megapixel Zeiss coated lenses. What that means is better for clarity and less reflection, which is great for photos. And that Zeiss processing is awesome. Check out some of these photos that I've taken. It's just such a good job. Like, this camera is, for a foldable, really, really, really good. Does this compete with flagships? Probably not, but that's mainly because it has only a 3 times optical zoom, which isn't great. But that is the standard that is there on most book-style foldables. The Oppo has it, the Honor has it, the Samsung has it. Only the Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold had a 5X, but everybody else has a 3X. So there's nothing to say bad about this, even on that front. Now, in terms of multitasking, I do feel this is where the device doesn't really perform that well. Why do I say that? Well, it has this really cool new feature called Atomic Workbench, which I think is great. I think what I really like about this Atomic Workbench is that I could be playing a game, right? And at the same time, I could have in one of its 4 side windows, which is like kind of like a PC, you could have a video playing, you could have maps running, you could have any other 4 apps running, and they're live. So they're all running at the same time. So you actually have 5 apps running at the same time. It's a lot more like a computer, right? Which I really like. But when it comes to the normal multitasking, I think this device isn't that good. You can have 2 standard apps and a floating window. The floating window the aspect ratio cannot be manipulated, which I wish it could. I wish it could do 3 apps. The Honor can do 3 apps. The Samsung can do 3 apps in a weird format and then throw in like 20 more floating windows. And the Oppo probably has the best actually here, which is 3 apps at the same time, full-size apps when they're boundless view, just drag it out. Love that about the Oppo actually. This device for that multitasking is great. So in that, I do think this device doesn't really hold up. And Origin OS or FunTouch OS is a very, very boring skin that they've put on Android. It's just not that exciting. There's not a lot happening. Another feature about this is, I know Honor has this magic portal and Oppo has that file dock thing. This kind of has the same thing, right? I wish Samsung did it, but they don't. This has it. So you can drag any app from A and then pick an image, for example, and drop it into one of your favorite apps, which is on the top. So, which is also really, really nice touch to have. Now, another really, really, really awesome feature about this device, and I find this super useful. So say you're at a friend's house and you want to share something onto their computer. You don't know how to do that, right? Whether it's a Windows or a Mac, you're actually really covered by Vivo. So what they've done is you basically go to the site and you get your phone out, you QR code scan that, and you have your entire phone available on that computer. We're talking about videos, photos, documents, whatever else that you could have is available for you to download right there onto that computer, which I think is a great feature. I wish more companies did that. With the Samsung, I'm always struggling, especially if I go to people who have a Mac. It's a real struggle to send something over to them. Even if I'm working on that computer, it's really hard for me to get something off this phone onto that, right? Can be really, really frustrating. You got to log into like a Google Drive, or you got to find a way to get that like quick share link to that device. It can be very annoying. So good job, Vivo. Really good job on that. By the way, this also has other integration with iOS, including iCloud directly on your phone's file system. Now, did it work for me? Yes, but it was very hit and miss. And I think that's a lot to do with Apple trying to prevent access to this based on privacy and security. So every 2 days, I had to log back in and go through that whole process, which was very frustrating and annoying. And it just became easier to continue using Google Drive instead of the iOS integration with iCloud. FunTouch OS also feels very limited in terms of how you can access icons, how you can change that up. I love messing around with the icons, but I find it so limiting on this device. That's where Samsung really is the leader when it comes to that customization. Also, what you can do, the accessibility features, they are more limited. There's no back touch here, none of that. So that can be, I would like that. That's something I would like from Vivo. So this device is slightly thicker than all the other competitors that have come out this year, which really I have to ask the question. If this is the thickest device, why is it that this is the device with last year's chipset? I'm not saying that the Snapdragon Gen 3 is a bad chip. Not at all. For example, I love to game. I play a lot of COD Mobile, and I can play on the highest setting and I have no issues. But will that hold true 3 years from now? We're not too sure about that, right? Because this chip will then be 4 years outdated. So at the price point that Vivo has launched this, I think that's quite frustrating, because that is the one thing that really holds this device back compared to the competitors that have come out this year. By the way, if you're finding this video interesting, please do like and subscribe. It really helps us out to produce videos like this. Another thing is, why doesn't Vivo have an IR blaster on this device? All the other foldables from Chinese companies like Oppo and Honor, they have it. Why doesn't Vivo have it? It makes no sense to me. I love the IR blaster. I think it's one of those extra benefits you get from using one of these devices compared to like a Samsung or a Google. I like that. They don't offer that, which is kind of sad. In terms of durability as well, this phone is a leader along with the Honor until October, when the Google Pixel 9 Pro 10 Fold, always a mouthful, comes out, which will be IP68, and I expect Honor, Vivo, and probably even Samsung to catch up to them next year. We're not sure, but they probably will. But for now, this is IP59 rated, which is better than the Samsung and is on par with the Honor. So again, no negative marks on that side in terms of durability, I would say. So my final thoughts on this device is this really offers robust hardware compared to all the other competitors. It really does. It has the super nice ergonomic feeling thing going on. It's just so comfortable in the hand. Number two, it has by far the biggest battery, 6,000 mAh. It lasts so long. 3, it charges at 80 watts wired, which is awesome. 4, it has by far the best cameras. Yes, it is limited at 3x optical zoom, but that's standard across foldables. So these are huge points for it. The only negative I see is that last year's SoC. If this was priced a bit better, I could definitely say this is the best foldable that you could buy. But sadly, because of its price and because of that last year SoC, it is hard to recommend. However, if a camera really matters to you, if battery life really matters to you, then those are the reasons why you'd still probably want to look at this device over something like this. If you're interested in picking up a Vivo X Fold 5, whether it's the global version or the Chinese version or the Honor Magic V5 or a host of other devices that you cannot pick up at your local store, well then please do check out the mobilemarvel.com, because we have you covered and we have the best prices that are unbeatable in that industry, and also we ship globally. So please check us out, and please do comment down below if you're interested in picking up a Vivo X Fold 5 or any other book style foldable and what your thoughts are on this device. And please do like and subscribe. This is Mo checking out.